Okay, my name is Robert Melby. I'll be doing a speech on humanism, the beliefs in general, things like that. My audience members here are
Rob Graham,
Christopher,
Hannah,
Miss Melly,
and Megan Albright. Alright.
and beliefs allow people to establish an identity and behave well accordingly with this identity. It is common that beliefs regarding ethics it's common that beliefs regarding ethics are derived from a religious understanding of a supernatural being or God. However, humanism provides a different type of foundation for beliefs. It holds that human beings can be led good lives without belief in a supernatural being necessarily. The origin of humanism can be traced back to the Greek philosopher Socrates and the Chinese philosopher Confucius about 2,500 years ago. Both philosophers agreed that people should first learn to think for themselves, and secondly, society should work to benefit all of its members or provide the greatest amount of good for each other. I personally find that the humanism perspective is intriguing. So today I will examine the humanist understanding of the world, the humanist stance of social policies, and finally an understanding of a modern humanist ritual of non-religious marriage. First thing is humanists and understanding how they understand the world. Basically, although the humanist understanding of the world is secular, humanists are not atheists necessarily, which is not believing in any God. As Janet Asimov explains, quote, "Atheism is merely the absence of belief. Humanism is a positive attitude to the world centered on human experience, thought, and hopes. Simply put, humanists believe that the evidence that our values have a supernatural basis is weak. On the other hand, humanists believe that our values are based in the human person. Therefore, in order to know whether a conduct or action is right, we can ask ourselves whether it promotes the development of thinking, feeling, and physical health in human beings." That is the answer. Humanism encourages inquiry before acceptance when it comes to values, which is pretty interesting. Before reaching conclusions about a given value, humanists will actually analyze it and reflect on that with both their senses and their minds. So humanists disagree with any values that one must abandon reason or take a leap of faith in order to believe, like a God. Although they don't not necessarily not believe in God, if you have to strive too hard to get to that, then they're not sure. Finally, humanists are conscious of the fallibility of human comprehension and also include in their perspective scientific and logical thinking. Humanists do not believe that the Earth and our universe was created only in thousands of years, but in billions of years, as proved through science, which is what they mostly do. Is they're science people. Everything's backed up through science with them. The second point that I'd like to talk about is social politics. More understanding about the humanistic perspective can be gained when examining their interpretation of social policies through justice, technology, global consciousness, and ethics. Humanists are committed to free inquiry and see the value of social systems that promote liberty and individual self-thinking. Like religious freedoms, church-state separation, freedom of the press, right to abortion, birth control, etc. Humanists understand that humans need both the protections and restraints that law provides Humanists believe deterrence, restoration, and rehabilitation should be considered in the goals of penalization. Also, humanists encourage a decentralized government and participatory democracy where all people can be involved. Humanists have a healthy skepticism towards technology but value human creativity. Humanists believe it is important to exercise moral influence on new technologies like information technology and biotechnology. In order to do this, they feel they must be involved as technical developments occur. Like many others, humanists share the idea that all people depend on the existence and maintenance of our environment. Therefore, they encourage programs that foster environmental protection, as well as programs that secure safety from thermonuclear and biological warfare. Humanists are practical ethics. Humanists use practical ethics to govern what they believe is socially moral. In other words, they believe the world that we currently physically exist in is the only world that is relevant for ethical concerns. Humanists don't believe they should sacrifice the ethical good life here unless it could be scientifically proven, like I was saying earlier, that another life does actually exist. Humanists oppose absolutistic values as if the world were ideal. Humanists recognize that moral dilemmas and choices are hard and require critical thinking. They are not simply black and white, they're more of a gray. The last point I'd like to bring up is about modern rituals or non-religious marriages. Today, humanism practices are very common, especially non-religious marriage. According to BBC.news, quote, humanist wedding ceremonies allow for far greater personalization than religious ceremonies, which must inevitably follow the directions of a particular church or institution. This allows the ceremony to incorporate words and visuals from a wide range of cultures. Humanist ceremonies stress the efforts and relationships of the couple instead of a religious union under God. Humanistic value equality among partners, so each has a voice. Although there have been a rise in humanistic ceremonies, unfortunately, they're only legal in Scotland, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Norway, and some parts of the United States. In conclusion, humanism is a fact-based philosophy that emphasizes the importance of both evidence and compassion for others in the formation of values. This understanding can be achieved through examination of the humanist understanding of the world, humanist stance in social policies, and the modern humanist ritual of non-religious marriage. Thanks.
Alright, scan the audience one more time.
Rob Graham. Rob Graham.
Hanging out right?
Liz Milby.
Christopher Miller. Thank you.